Everybody, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to Tammy Talks. We're here tonight because we're going to talk Insecure Season 5, Episode 5, Surviving, okay? So if you are brand new to my channel, please consider hitting the subscribe button. If you are returning from last week or from another video and you have not yet subscribed, please go ahead, hit that subscribe button. Thumbs up the video on your way in or out. We are headed to 2,000 subscribers, y'all. So I can only do that with your help. So let's do that together. All right, y'all. So let's get started. So tonight's episode starts off with Molly having sex. I'm assuming it's with the guy that she went on the date with, but it can't be him because she dates somebody after him. Nonetheless, Molly is out having sex, and when she gets done, she notices that she has a bunch of missed calls from her brothers and her father. So she gets she goes to the hospital, and her mother's in the hospital, and at this point they don't know what happened. They just know that she's in the hospital. So her brother is saying that the last time he talked to their mother, he told her that her dressing wasn't good, and he was like, and it wasn't, but I mean, I didn't have to tell her that. So they're like kind of going through the motions that you see typical people go through, where it's like, damn, the last thing I said to somebody, and, just everybody is super, super worried. So the doctor comes out and tells them that there's nothing more that they can do for her, and they should start saying their final goodbyes. And they were all like, goodbyes? And I was like, damn, her mama died? Like, I'm confused because I'm like, what happened? So they get back and they show the woman, and I immediately was like, that is not her mama. That is not her mother. And they're all looking, and they were like, this isn't her. So the dad is upset at the doctor because he's like, how old do you think I am that I would have a wife, a companion this old? And then the doctor kept asking them, like, are you guys sure this isn't her? Nigga, yes, this is not her. So then they turn around, and it's like another black family that was kind of the same setup. Two sons, a daughter, and it's really their mother. So Molly's mother is actually she's stable for now. So they're gonna go and take them so they can actually see her. Once they get there, the nurse is trying to ask Molly's dad, like, is she allergic to any medications? Is her blood pressure usually this high? Just, basic questions that they ask, so they can get her medical chart updated and make sure that they don't give her the wrong medication or anything of the sort. And her father was so overwhelmed that he, like, snaps at the nurse, and it's like, can we do this later? Like, why are we doing this now? And the nurse is just like, we can do it later. That's no problem. Completely understand. So Molly actually steps outside of the room and tells the nurse that she wants to be added as another point of contact for her mother, so she can help her dad out, because this is going to be a lot for him. And the nurse is cool with it, and she was like, okay. Didn't take her number, literally just wrote down her name. So I don't know how much of a contact Molly will be, but fingers crossed that the nurse keeps her word. So we see Issa is waking up in Nathan's bedroom. He brings her some coffee, and she asks him what time he has to be at work. Nathan said that he had a couple of his clients canceling him that morning, so he's free until the afternoon. So Issa was like, cool. I don't want to overstay my welcome. And then she goes into typical awkward Issa, where it's like, do you want to still kick it? Should I go home? I thought we were taking things slow. And she was like, because I have plans with Molly anyways, but Molly be canceling. And Nathan is like, well, we can't waste a good reservation. So kind of like, Issa, we can keep hanging out. We can keep kicking it. Like, that's perfectly fine. So Issa was like, well, let me just call Molly and see what's what. So she calls Molly, and it's like, what you doing, reading a book with your book reading ass? And I don't know why that was so funny to me. And Molly must have told her that no, her mother's in the hospital. So Issa rushes to the hospital to be with her. And again, there's these awkward things where if Molly's mother is in the hospital, are we really supposed to believe that Tiffany and Kelly wouldn't be there too. Like I don't know, something about this season just seems like really disjointed with how they're not putting everybody in these scenarios where they all would be in. Like this isn't like them just kind of being hanging out or talking. It's like big moments. Like I would like to think that Kelly and Tiffany would be there for Molly. Just like Issa and Molly, I'm kind of shocked that they weren't at Simone's birthday party, or at least they didn't show them. Then, like, it's been kind of weird. But so Issa gets there, um, and Nathan is like, let me know when you need a ride home. Let me know if you need anything. And Issa is being super awkward again. It's kind of like, I don't want to ask you for anything. It's fine. I got it. And Nathan is like, it's fine. If you need me, call me. Because it's kind of like, we're together. You said you wanted to be together. So we're together. Let me be there for you. You know what I mean? So, Issa gets upstairs, or she gets in the hospital. She's talking to Molly, and she's asking Molly like, "Are you good? Do you need anything? How's your dad? How's the family?" And Molly is just like, my brother been counting his change. It's gonna keep being the same 79 cents. My dad is kind of in like a state of shock, kind of denial. Like Issa asked her, "Are you good?" And Issa keeps like looking at her outfit and was like, "Do you want me to go get you some coffee, some lunch?" Some clothes. And Molly was like, yes, I need clothes. Like, this man catcalled me. So Issa was like, I mean, did you want to trade clothes in the meantime? You can just wear mine till I get back from your apartment. So they trade, and then they have like little funny banter where Issa is like in Molly's dress, and it's like, damn, I look good. And then they have a moment where where Molly's just like, thank you. I don't know what I would do without you being here. So like, thank you. And then Issa's just like, I got your back. And it's good to see that they are so far back on good terms that it doesn't, like, their interactions don't seem forced anymore. They seem super, super genuine. So Issa calls Nathan. Nathan comes and picks her up. And they go to Molly's apartment, and Issa's trying to find some clothes. I thought she was trying to find clothes for Molly, but apparently she was finding clothes just for herself to put on, and Molly's gonna keep Issa's clothes on. And Nathan is like, I didn't know she had a dog. And Flavor Flav is just kind of sitting there whining because like he hungry, he thirsty, he probably got to use the bathroom. And Issa clearly don't like the dog, and she was just like, oh yeah, he okay, he's a house dog, he know what to do. And Nathan is like, we got to take the dog out for a walk. So they agreed to take the dog out for a walk. And it was in that moment that I knew this is not going to end the way that Issa is anticipating it, or the way Issa thinks it is. I just knew she shouldn't take that dog out of that apartment. So we head back to Molly. She's at the hospital with her dad and Aunt Kiki. They're down in like the cafeteria. And Aunt Kiki's been getting on my nerves. So she's like taking a bunch of phone calls. She's talking loud. She's telling all their business. And then whoever she's talking to wants to pray for the family and wants to know should she put them on speakerphone. And Molly can see how her dad is looking, and she's like, this is not the time. This ain't it right now. So Kiki tells the person on the phone, I think it was Gloria, to just text a prayer. And I was like, what? But it's always, like, anytime situations like this happen, there is always that one person that is just over the top, that's extra. And it's just really how they deal with, like, stress and grief in that moment. So we gonna let Kiki, pass, but all right. So while Molly is sitting there, she gets a phone call from work. And I still did not catch that guy's name. But he's asking her if she's coming in. And Molly was like, nope. I told my assistant I have some personal issues today that I have to handle. And he was like, okay, but did you at least finish your part of the project we're working on? And Molly said, no, I was going to work on that today. Need a little more time to fine tune it. And he was like, it's not too late to let Felicia step in and handle it. And Molly was like, no, it's fine. I got it. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be done. And this is just another example of like Molly taking on too much And I'm hoping that this doesn't slip her into old Molly, where she's trying to do so much that she's neglecting. It's like Molly was kind of like robbing Peter to pay Paul. That was kind of like how Molly was living life before. So I hope that's not what she slides back into, like overextending herself now. So Issa's out walking Flavor Flav with Nathan, and her mom calls, who we know was Wendy Raquel Robinson. And her mom is like, I'm so glad you called. I appreciated your voicemail. Because Issa and Nathan both said that they called and left their mom's voicemails after hearing about what happened with Molly's mom. And that's what happens with a lot of people. Like, you watch something on the news and it's like something where like a parent dies or like a movie. You like immediately call your parents. Like, I feel like that's just what people do. So they're talking, and Nathan confirms to Issa's mother that he is her boyfriend. And then Issa's mother wants her to join a book club at church for the next 8 weeks, next 8 Sundays. So while they're sitting down talking, Flavor Flav's collar was too big, and he slips out of it and he wanders his little ass away. And I was like, I knew Issa should not have taken that damn dog out of the apartment. So we see that Molly is back at the hospital. They're all in her mom's hospital room. And Molly is asking a bunch of questions that she clearly has on Google from her phone. So more than likely, she got on Wikipedia. She got on WebMD. She got on, it's another one that I feel like another like health website that people use. So she got on there because she is like asking all these questions, and the nurse was like, oh, you're one of those. We gotta wait. Whatever you're suggesting, we can't do because this is your mom's second stroke. And Molly is like, oh no, my mom ain't had no stroke before. And the nurse was like, oh. So then the dad was like, well, so come to find out, this is Molly's mother's second stroke. And they kept the first one from their kids because they didn't want them to worry. And if it is one thing I hate, I hate when people do that. Like, don't keep important stuff like that a secret. And I told my parents that too. Like, I'm the only child in the city. My brother lives out of state. If something is going on, I have to know. You know what I mean? And I feel that her parents doing that, like her dad doing that, like, you don't want to hear from the doctor, oh yeah, this is your mom's second stroke. Strokes are serious as hell. So Molly was like, how am I supposed to help y'all if y'all don't tell me stuff? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to help y'all do this stuff, and if y'all don't keep me in the loop, I can't help you. So the nurse is kind of looking like, okay, let me go and get out of here because this is about to be an issue. Issa and Nathan are out half-assed looking for Flavor Flav. And I'm like, y'all aren't doing a good job because they're walking. It's like, Flav. Flav. Flavor Flav. And I'm like, y'all ain't even looking for this dog. So Nathan tells Issa a story about how dogs, they know their walk route, and he will eventually find his way back home because he has, probably pissed and left his scent all along the trail. So he's going to follow his own scent home. And, dogs aren't dumb. Some are, but most dogs aren't dumb, and they know how to get back home if they're not super, super far from it. So Nathan tells a story about how when he was growing up, he lost his dog. He was scared to go home. Him and his brother spent all day out looking for this dog. And then when they got home, the dog was sitting on the porch. So that was his way of like reassuring her, it's fine. We're going to find the dog. Don't worry. Because Issa was like, I had one job today. To be there for my best friend because her mom is in the hospital and I lost her dog. And I'm like, you should have never took that little nigga out of the apartment. So, back at the hospital, Molly is sitting in the room with her mom. The doctor comes in and tells her that the MRI and she has like a CT are showing considerable damage. And as a result of that, paralysis might be one of the outcomes. So Molly is like, nope, that can't be right. And the doctor is like, I can come back and tell the rest of the family if you need me to. So while Issa and Nathan are sitting on the bench, still half-ass calling for Flav, he he ends up running back up to Issa and sitting down in front of her so that she can put his leash on. And Issa tells Nathan, you were so patient with me. Thanks for everything today, and that's why I love you. And it's like, oh, Issa, you do not love this man. I don't want Issa to end up back with Lawrence either, but I certainly don't want her with Nathan. I don't know what it is about Nathan that rubs me the wrong way, but I don't want them together. So they have this moment where Nathan does not say it back, but they kiss. All is right, and Issa's like talking to Flavor Flav, telling him, good job, like you came back, whatever. So we see Issa go back to the hospital, and she's sitting there with Molly, and Molly is saying how she feels guilty that her mom doesn't, trust her enough to have these hard conversations with her. She's wondering why her mom, didn't let her know she was sick, and all her mom wanted was for her to get married and have grandchildren, and now she probably won't even be able to see her walk down the aisle. So she just kind of feels like a failure as like a daughter, and Issa's like, you're doing great. You have a great career. You have a fabulous apartment. Like you're doing what you need to do for yourself. On top of that, you're here now. And Molly is just kind of like, I was out having sex while my mom was having a stroke. And I think one of the worst things that people can do is when something like this happens, a tragedy happens, or just like a serious whatever, for them to think of, oh, well, I was out kicking it. I was out doing this. And it's like, Issa told her, stuff is going to happen when it happens. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing that Molly could have done to stop her mom from having a stroke. There's nothing she could have done to, you know what I mean? Like, to prevent this or prepare for this. You don't know that, okay, on Tuesday, so-and-so is going to have a heart attack. So-and-so is going to have a stroke. And so Issa was just kind of reminding her, like, this is not your fault. You're doing the best that you can. Like, your mom is proud of you. Whatever. So Molly's just saying how she wants to start spending more time with family and friends because that's her circle. You know what I mean? Like, she doesn't want to ever lose sight of that. And then Issa tells her, like, you are never leaving mine. You know what I mean? So, like, I got you. We're going to help you get through this, together. So Issa tells her that she's going to go get them some coffee because Molly's yawning because she's been up all night. Because she has not left the hospital and really not left her mom's room. So we see Issa going down to get them some coffees, and Issa has this awkward ass exchange, Lord have mercy, where she's trying to get around an orderly that's like pushing a hospital bed, and it's like it was so hard to watch. But while she's doing that, she sees a baby, and then she sees Condola. And she recognizes Condola right away. And then she sees Lawrence stand up. And she, like, runs and hides behind the wall. But her and Lawrence see each other. And it is just this heartbreaking, gut-wrenching moment where you can see that they both still want to be together. Lawrence looks like he's gutted. Issa looks like she wants to cry. Condola and the baby walk into the room. Issa, like, hurries on down to the cafeteria, and you can see Lawrence is conflicted because he wants to chase after Issa, but he knows that he has to be there for his child. And that's how the episode goes off. So this was a better episode. We're getting back to the old Insecure. I will say this season is way more serious. Instead of this being like more of the comedy with the serious notes that we're used to seeing, it's more of a serious, it has more of a serious storyline, and then there are some comedic notes in there. So there are 5 episodes left. I'm still hoping it picks up a little more. Like, the one-on-one episodes are great to kind of show where everybody is. I'm assuming next week is going to be Kelly's. I didn't see the preview. Because I watch on the HBO Max app and they don't show previews at the end. But I want to get back to some of the episodes where the whole cast is together, where everyone's hanging out, where everyone is intermingling, and like it's fun again. Because like the season is kind of depressing. Every episode is something so heavy. Nonetheless, it was a good episode. Let me know how you guys felt about the episode. What did you like? What didn't you like? Subscribe if you have not already, and catch you guys in the next one.